Good after. Maybe I should put it on. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning. Actually, it's evening for me, afternoon for you, morning for somebody. Whatever the case may be in this bright, wonderful world. And this is the Aloha Hour. So, aloha. You can see my rig here. Edwin Boyette, my co-host.
Aloha.
So tonight, I don't know how the quality is going to be, but I have a lot of work to do. So I'm going to be inking while we're thinking. And you guys, whoever happens to be here, gets to look at this all night. So
interact with the Lone Star Squadron. Okay, so a real interesting thing today, and I don't want to get too specific. Well, we can mention some of the specifics. Do you remember last year? You remember last year when there was a Facebook group conspiring to create an altercation? I think it was at the Diversity in Comics at the convention. So you remember that name, Taylor Esposito? Does that? He's done some stuff, and then he did a Kickstarter for one of his own titles called Big Hawaiian Dick, I think, a Hawaiian adventure. And I think he raised $20-some thousand, and then just didn't deliver the book.
oh, yeah, that was the guy.
But needless to say, B. Clay Moore and some of his associates, they are not friends of Comicsgate. But I think they are looking at the people in Comicsgate.
Okay. Well.
All right.
You know what I could do? I could close out my window.
Right.
And that'll cut out half of this. You know what? Let me try that.
Once you start me up, I never stop.
Yeah, toe thumbs, wrong guy. This sucks. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Mr. Smith. No, it was working fine before. It might be because we've because I've got you too.
What was I going to say? Someone says we should get Nasser in to link with the computer and fix it.
All right, so let me go back to my Hangouts, join the stream, and then I'll hang this one up.
Now, see, I would not call Rokabir Kumar the mad point. I would call him the warrior point.
Oh, there we go.
Is in my ears, it's in my eyes. Trebuchet is in my forgotten skies.
Well, I'm not gonna man the trebuchet tonight. So you carry on.
Okay. All right. So back to my story. So we've established who Taylor Esposito is. Kind of a scoundrel, a rapscallion, a man of ill repute, right? Trying to gin up some violence so he can watch from a safe distance, so he can clutch at his mother's skirt while grown men engage in fisticuffs. This
So
Taylor
we say he presses at his pearls.
Yes. From a safe distance, as he watches B. Clay Moore level Richard C. Meyer with one punch. As long as I guess B. Clay Moore didn't need his walker that day, and B. Clay Moore doesn't strike me as a particularly robust individual. Anyway, so at the same time this mess is going on, Taylor Esposito is the letterer for a comic book. Okay.
Uh-huh.
In a comic book that he did, I won't say which one, he wrote like this alien lettering, right? But if you flip it upside down, it is very nasty, horrible statements about John Delarose. He was in our chat. I don't know if he still is. John, you still in the chat?
Did I scare him off with my inability to stream correctly?
Yeah, he said he wanted to buy you a new computer. I think you were hurting his heart watching that.
If you go down into my description, you will see my Amazon wish list, and you can fulfill that desire. Make life easier for you guys, I guess. Make life better for you guys. And so I'm like, well, I need a new computer, so I put that on there too.
Yeah. So anyway, Taylor Esposito on Twitter, and like Taylor Espo, a letterer for various comic books, has now kind of been found to be involved in a second scout, I guess, scandal. John's pretty upset about that. And, you know, he's a good brother, but they said hidden in the messages were some pretty nasty statements about John Delarose. Yeah, pretty nasty stuff.
Well, nasty is what nasty does, and those people are nasty.
Yeah.
John's not.
I wonder.
Other people are nasty. Just to clarify.
What would happen if the screen wasn't locked on the pinwheel? If it flipped back in between us? Because right now I'm still. Well, hang on. Let me go live because I may be looking at something. Is it flipping? Oh, okay, no, it's flipping. That's my bad.
Oh, I'm still pinwheeling.
All right.
Beautiful shot of your face.
You know, son, I don't need that, boy.
All right, so let's see where Lone Star's at. Lone Star is, wow, 36,372. More importantly, though, well, more importantly in general, because it's important to build an audience for the Blacklist universe for my own selfish reasons, right? Because I want to see this other stuff get made. Don't think it's like altruistic, like I want John to have wild or Mike to have wild financial success. I'm greedy to see some of these books get published. But 656 members of the Lone Star Squadron now. 656.
Really nice. Really nice.
Yeah.
It's amazing. I mean, the dollar amount that is coordinated with that, with only 656 people, it is. It's incredible. I mean, it's humbling, and it's. Yeah, I am humbled by this process, because of how much so few are willing to put into it. You know, and a lot of these guys don't even know me. They don't even know. I mean, they've heard me talk about the stuff that I've done, but it's not. Most of these guys didn't come in here as fans of mine. You know, it's all the community. It's like I said, it's humbling. So I just please don't. I am truly grateful to every single person, and I don't say that half-heartedly.
All right, I've got to ask you some practical questions.
It's your internet that has humbled you, Mike. Why you? All right.
I've got to ask you some practical questions, just because I don't want to see something geeked up for you. Are you sure, like, you know how the money gets transferred from Indiegogo to your bank account, and all that stuff is set up, and you've verified your identity with them and stuff, so this campaign's not going to finish and your money's going to get stuck somewhere in a hole?
No. I haven't even entered my bank account in there yet. I suppose I should probably get that done in the next few days.
Yeah, that would be good. That would be good to do some of those practical things, because that would be heartbreaking for that money to get stuck for like weeks or something. Yeah.
Practical things. They bore me to tears. I
know.
I want to draw pretty pictures.
I know you do. But mortgages like to be paid, you know.
Yeah, that's sort of practical, I guess.
You can pretend they don't. You can pretend they don't exist. But I was talking to one of your kids earlier while you steps out of the room. He confirmed that he did actually enjoy living indoors. He did enjoy that. So.
You're not helping me, buddy.
So make sure that thing is set up.
Asks me if I'm going to be at Dragon Con. That is correct. I will be at Dragon Con. I have not got my plane ticket yet, but I do have a table. So yes to that.
Where is Dragon Con held out?
Atlanta, Georgia.
Atlanta,
Georgia. It is the craziest convention in America, I think. It's sort of like I tell people, you know, there's 130,000 people that go to San Diego, right? So if you take the 70,000 relatively normal people and take them away,
right.
The rest of them is Dragon Con.
Mm.
So like 40% of the people there are in cosplay, and
wow.
everyone is like absolute fandom menace. I mean, they not to say like, you know, they're all conservatives. I'm just saying they are fandom out. You know, they are there because they are science fiction fans, they are fantasy fans, they are comic fans, they're any kind of nerd fan you can shake a stick at is at Dragon Con, and it is a convention by fans, for fans. You know, it is run by fans, so it's a nonprofit, so it's yeah, it's a crazy show. But I like it.
I think someone in the chat said they may see you there. If I'm reading this right, this is Falling into Destiny. Yes, I will see you there.
Rock and roll. I will be in the top floor, third floor, something of the America's Mart, I think it's called, where all the pop culture stuff is. The bottom floor is all exhibitors, you know, like shirts and doodads and hoo-haws. Well, not hoo-haws. My son caught that one before I did. But yeah, the third floor is the artists. Like, what do they call it before? Like popular artists, something like that. It's not like comic artists per se, but it's mostly comic book artists. But like the Frazetta girls are there, and
oh, I had a nice conversation with them a couple months back. Yeah.
Regarding.
All right. So the license from the estate got split between them and I guess one of their siblings. And so Tim Doyle, I didn't know this, but Tim Doyle has I guess talked to the brother and is able to publish some of the stuff. And so I was like, I asked the girl straight out, I was like, why are you letting this fruit bat publish your stuff? Because this dude is kind of nasty. And they're like, we're not. That is through our siblings' license.
Mm.
And then so I shared some of their stuff out and, you know, got their links around because they were real pleasant to me, actually.
Yeah. I have not spoken with them. I just know they were there. So maybe I'll give it a shot.
Well, there's a cool guy in your chat you got to talk to someday soon. Ben Jones is a cool guy. He's working on a book himself. Been kind of a passion project for him. He's kind of self-financed it all while he's working doing some other stuff. But it is it's pretty well done. It's pretty high level for a freshman effort. But I think it's a freshman effort, but he's our age, yeah. I think Ben, are you our age? Are you in your something 40s? I think he is anyway.
Yeah, the lag has really is controlling the screen tonight. Maybe I'll just turn my camera off. That might be optimal. Oh, where'd my Google thing go? Okay.
Sierra Whiskey 186, you are pretty cool too. You are a cool dude.
All right. Let's see if that helps at all. I mean, you guys can still hear what we're saying, right? So
Yeah. But I'm right here, so it makes it easier.
yeah, 42. Blue 42.
Everybody's laughing at the description of Tim Doyle as a fruit bat. He's just an unpleasant person in general. Kind of a, why are all these people so weird?
I can't answer that for you, brother.
I know it's just weird.
Up and up, oh. You know, totally tangential, but my son Micah came up with a word today that I thought was hilarious in its simplicity and its effectiveness as an insult. He called my other son a butt crap.
Butt crap.
A butt crap.
Was this your teenager who came up with this, or one of the
No, Micah is my second youngest, so he's is he 10 now? He's 10. 10-year-old came up with butt crap.
All right, I got a question for you, and I want you to think about it because this is coming from the chat. But hold on to this thought for just a moment. This is Avenger 1212, and so he's asking you to talk more about the samurai villain you tried to use in Batman. He says, Edwin, help me out here, man. Inquiring minds want to know. Well, and that's how it works. Ask and you shall receive. But before we do that, can I read from you? Can I read some James from you from the book of James? Is that all right?
Sure.
Okay. No. Just I like James because it's kind of uplifting. I find it uplifting anyway. James, a servant of God and of Lord Jesus Christ, to the 12 tribes which are scattered abroad, greeting. My brethren, count it all joy when you fall into diverse temptations, knowing this, that the trying of your faith worketh patience. But let patience have her perfect work, that you may be perfect and entire, wanting nothing. If any of you lack wisdom, let him ask of God, that giveth to all men liberally, and upbraideth not, and it shall be given him. But let him ask in faith, nothing wavering. For he that wavereth is like a wave of the sea driven with the wind and tossed. For let not that man think he shall receive anything of the Lord. A double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. Let the brother of low degree rejoice in that he is exalted. Yeah, I like James so very much.
Yeah. Did man, we got into a lot of scriptural stuff today. I don't know if you listened to the stream earlier today.
Oh, today during the inking stream.
Yeah.
I was running around like a crazy person. I think I ducked in and said hi at one point. I just didn't have the chance to pay attention too much today. I was just running and gunning today.
Yeah, I don't want to rehash all of it, but it was good. It was good.
Oh, very good.
A lot of interaction with the peanut gallery.
Oh, good. Good. Well, you know, even if you're an odnist, a broadnist, an agnostic, an atheist, or even like a libertarian wasteist, you know, some guy who just likes to, a lawbetarian who just likes to smoke weed, even if you find the idea of religions ridiculous and stuff, there are some beautiful passages in the King James Bible, in the New Testament, particularly in James, but particularly in like Ecclesiastes, in Psalms, in Proverbs. There's something there truly for everyone.
How freaking bizarre was that last night? You were listening, weren't you?
What was that?
When Ethan and I just sort of were rambling about it, and he's like, you know, pick a book, and I'm like, Lamentations, because I'm looking at it, and it's like the tab sticking out the furthest. I'm like, oh, Lamentations. Like, I want want to read quotes from Lamentations. So I like grabbed the quote. I'm like, and it was so dead on.
Oh yeah, but you wound up in Jeremiah though, didn't you?
No, that was Lamentations.
Was that Lamentations?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but it was just, I got chills, man. That was so crazy last night. You got chills? I did that last night. I like the Bible when Edwin reads it. Edwin, you should do your own audio Bible.
Do my own audio Bible. Yeah, it's a little bit of Edwin goes a long way.
Yeah.
I'm nice garnish. I'm probably best when I am with someone else. But yeah, it was.
Do you have the Bible app on your phone?
I do have one, and then I keep a Bible in my car, and then I like to use when I'm home. I use the Bible Gateway and then a couple of other websites because I can put up like parallel translations. If I go deep, I'll have three up.
Yeah.
I'll have the King James version, I'll have Young's literal version, and then I'll pull up one of the Greek versions and kind of struggle through it and parse it out. I'm not fluent with my Greek, but like a couple of our pastors are very proficient in Koine Greek.
Right. I like because I have the YouVersion Bible app, and I just love the guy who reads the King James version. Have you heard it?
No, I have not. Does he have a pleasant voice?
Genesis 15. After these things, the word of the Lord came unto Abram in a vision, saying, Fear not, Abram, I am thy shield, and thy exceeding great reward. And Abram
that's a nice voice. That is a nice voice.
What will to the...
Yeah, it's funny because there's this one that the scene when Thomas, when Jesus is saying they need to go back to Jerusalem, and they're all like, but Lord, they want to kill you in Jerusalem, right? And then Thomas, they agree to go, and then Thomas goes, yes, let's go and die with him. But the way he reads it in this exacerbated, like, let's go so we can die with him. And it's like this whole new spin on the scripture for me. I'm like, oh man, it would, because that's Thomas, right? And that would be him. Okay, whatever, guys, let's go die with Jesus. But it reminds me of like I did the adaptation of A Midsummer Night's Dream.
A Midsummer Night's Dream. You did the comic book adaptation of that.
I did a digital comic adaptation of that entire thing. And a lot of times with Shakespeare, you're just kind of going through the lines and watching people do it and sort of getting the gist from the acting and whatnot, right? Because a lot of the times the language is so foreign to a modern understanding, right, that people are just kind of going with the flow from the actors, and a lot of times the actors don't even know what the hell they're saying. Well, swear, it just sounded like this, doesn't it? But when I was doing it, I, as the director of the visuals, I needed an intimate understanding of every single line that was being spoken or that had been written.
An intimate understanding.
And so that's how I feel like this actor did it. I mean, because this guy's clearly like a theater actor who read through this whole thing, because it seems like he took each line, and rather than doing some dry read, he got an understanding verse by verse of what was being said and how to exposit that in verbal communication better than just a dry read,
Yeah. It did actually sound like he had read through that a couple of times before he voiced that. So how did the comic book adaptation of A Midsummer Night's Dream come out? Was it well received?
I didn't ask.
You cashed your check and kept on trucking, huh?
I still have all the digital files, and I would love. I don't think they offer it anymore.
Oh,
But geez, I would love to be able to get a hold of the rights to it, just because of the art. You know, I like the art, and I thought I did a really good job with all the characters and whatnot. It's a fun thing that not a lot of my fans have ever seen. So,
well, some of that Shakespeare stuff is good. And you know, it's hackneyed. It's hackneyed, but I like. Have you actually read Romeo and Juliet?
no.
I like the Mercutio character. So he's like Mercutio is one of Romeo's men, and he's it's his cousin, but he's he's an older young man, and normally a pretty stout, adept kind of warriorly guy. But because of Romeo is why Mercutio dies. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And so after Mercutio gets hit, where is it? Let's see. Here we go. No, 'tis not so deep as a well, nor so wide as a church door, but 'tis enough, 'twill serve. Ask for me tomorrow, and you shall find me a grave man. I am peppered, I warrant, for this world. A plague on both your houses. Zounds! A dog, a rat, a mouse, a cat to scratch a man to death, a braggart, a rogue, a villain that fights by the book of arithmetic. Why the devil came you between us? I was hurt under your arm. I've always loved that passage. A villain that fights by the book of arithmetic. Shakespeare was great, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Shakespeare was great. And everybody is like still rewriting Shakespeare today, and nobody understands it because there's like most of these good stories, there's only so many patterns for stories, right? And you're just doing like your version of it in your setting with your own particular garnishes and dressings.
Yeah.
In general, but the execution, just like somebody was talking about ideas, and maybe we had this discussion this other day. People act like ideas are magic, and not so much. It's execution,
Yeah, I mean, it's really easy. I don't want to be flippant about it, but it's really easy to like, okay, take one of the two most popular movies last year of disparate categories. Like, give me a great romantic and a great action film.
Captain Geach and the Shrimp Shack Shooters. I think we only went to one movie last year, Mike. I'm sorry. I'm horrible for pop culture.
Okay, but like Underworld, right?
Okay, Underworld.
Underworld is Romeo and Juliet meets Van Helsing.
Yeah.
Captain America meets Van Helsing, whatever. A lot of stuff, Bug's Life is Seven Samurai meets friggin' Bugs. It's like you can take Battlestar Galactica was Exodus in space. It's like all of these things. Yeah, they are foundational stories that you just you pull one from here and you mash it to another one, and then it's the easiest way to sell a story and explain a story to somebody. Is like I was sitting here for a while trying to explain Lone Star without explaining what happens in Lone Star, because I don't want to give it away, and I don't want to give away his story, because functionally that's a spoiler, right? You've read it. I can't. But saying Captain America meets Van Helsing is just such an easy boil down. But you can do that with anything. You can take Doctor Who meets Florence Nightingale. I don't know, and you know, and you can take even if someone's like, well, let's come up with a good idea that will be popular. It's like, yeah, grab Avengers, and then grab Somewhere in Time, and somehow find a place to meld those two base concepts together, and you'll come up with something that is quote unquote original, but you can still pitch it as Avengers meets Somewhere in Time. Right. So yeah, there's nothing new under the sun. long way to agree with you.
I think it's good to put stuff in those terms sometimes, because it makes it very easy for people to understand.
Yeah, it becomes relatable.
Yeah. Speaking of which, I think is Ro still in the chat? Because there's a passage in Genesis that I know he would love. You ever read any of his poetry, of that Ro's poetry?
No.
He makes these great Twitter posts, man. They're great. It's like this epic. I don't even know what to call it. It's like this epic stuff. All right. So I'm going into Genesis though, because this is like what some of his stuff sounds like. He writes all these odes to Caesar. Anyway, and it came to pass when men began to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born unto them, that the sons of God, all the daughters of men, that they were fair, and they took them wives of all which they chose. And the Lord said, my spirit shall not always strive with man, for that he also is flesh, yet his days shall be 120 years. There were giants in the earth in those days, and also after that, when the sons of God came unto the daughters of men, and they bare children to them, the same became mighty men, which were of old, men of renown.
Yep, Genesis 6:1.
Yeah.
That scripture is foundational to the Blacklist universe.
Nice.
Funny that you should choose it.
Yeah, Roka Bir Kumar, though. I thought he would like that particular section. Yeah, so interesting day. How many, when is Dragon Con? When is the date on that?
August 30th till September 3rd. So that is my next show. And I have, I got a guy doing a couple shows, RTX, Austin, and Boston, I believe it is. Austin, then Boston, doing the shows for me so that I can work here. But yeah, my next show is not for a month.
So now, how do you ship all the stuff that you're going to sell? Like when you travel.
I take it with me. It's a huge pain in the butt. So I may, you know what? Last time I actually shipped some stuff to my friend Les, and he brought it with him to the show because he lives about 45 minutes away in Ackworth. So I'll probably do that again because those things are heavy. So
yeah. How did the metal prints sell, by the way?
I mean, they sell really well.
Or I guess the better question was at San Diego Comic-Con, what was the biggest seller? What was your hot item that you were?
What was it? Usually it's my Sirens print. That's sort of an what? That's what I was going to say. Evergreen. item, and a lot of the Deadpool stuff is very fan friendly. So yeah, it's funny. It's, you know, Deadpool keeps going. It's got peaks and valleys, but it still sells. Everybody loves Deadpool.
Did you sell any CGA posters at the?
Oh yeah, yeah. Not too many, but I sold a few, and I gave away about 150 Lone Star prints because they were free with purchase.
Right.
Trying to get people interested in my find. So I'm not sure how many of those people actually looked up the website post-con, but maybe they will someday. Someday.
Gil Rivera, Edwin, how did you get involved with these comic book troublemakers? Are you a troublemaker? I don't know. I think the people on our side are kind of, you know, maybe trouble for like these large corporate entities that want to simultaneously treat consumers like crap and then publish like subpar stuff. Maybe you guys are troublemakers for those people.
That's entirely fair. I don't think it's the corporations. I think the corporations don't care. It's it's editorial that's treating everyone like crap.
Right.
I mean, via the comics themselves and via Twitter, for Pete's sake. You know, the corporations just want to make money. I mean, honestly, I do think Marvel and DC publishing are both just write-offs, Warner Brothers and Disney.
Right.
But I'm sure they'd rather them turn a profit than just take the write-off, right? I mean, what's worse? Hey, Nick P's here. What's up, Nick? I'm going to be meeting with Nick on Saturday.
Oh yeah. Oh, very cool.
He's not too far away.
Very cool.
So yeah, I don't think it's fair to say it's the corporations. Corporations are people too.
Well, if they are now just IP factories or IP farms, then there is no corrective. There is no corrective mechanism because it will be such a long lag time between the generation of this particular set of IP, it being made into movies.
The core argument behind Comicsgate that they are forcing diversity onto pre-existing characters is because it is, I mean, to the benefit of the corporations that have paid for these idea houses, they should be creating new IPs. They should be developing. It's R&D. If it's not a write-off, then it's R&D, right? And that's why they bought them. They bought them for the properties, and they bought them for the creative capacity of the people involved. And for Pete's sake, if you're not going to create new IPs, but you're just going to sit there and rehash and mangle and re-sex and re-gender and everything, Williams. Beloved pre-existing characters at the direct cost of turning a profit during this huge banner time for comic book properties. I mean, comic book properties are bigger now than they have been in the entire history of the comic book market. Since maybe Superman in the 40s, right? Since then, you know, the market collapsed in like the 50s. So at a minimum, it has not been bigger in half of a century in the culture, and they're just allowing it to die on the vine because they're letting editorial play politics with these properties. It's such bad business. And that's what drives me nuts, you know. Get some pencil pushers in there instead of these freaking ideologues.
Yeah, well, actually, an MBA could probably write a better comic book than some of these wackadoodles.
Yeah. but
At
they
least,
don't have a.
at
They
least it would be coherent. At least it would be a coherent story. It might not be all that interesting, but it would be coherent.
Well, no, I mean, get an MBA in there to run the company, right? Get somebody in there, a pencil pusher who is looking at what has worked in the past, what the market is looking for, what the external media, like the movies and the TV and the toys everywhere, are driving, and have someone whose concern is making freaking money make the decisions and then hand it off to the creative people, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a business, for Pete's sake.
Oh,
And you're killing it.
I bet you're saying all kinds of good stuff too. Saying all kinds of good stuff too. Sorry about that.
You're losing.
Yeah, I accidentally unplugged my headset.
And me on my tirade. I don't tirade often. You missed it.
Oh, no. I only missed like a couple of seconds of it. Chester Busby. Chester Busby. What did he say here? Because it made me think of something. I don't know, guys. Why do you think the new Firestar in Titans looks so bad? I think it's because they want to tear down things that men like. Oh, and that reminds me of something else. All right, so I won't embarrass the young woman, but she is a huge fan of Mr. Miller's, and she swears she like fight somebody over it, that you have done the best version of Starfire ever. She absolutely loves your version of Starfire.
Well, thank you. I don't know what to say with that.
Yeah, I think the young woman is actually walking around with it. If I remember from one of the Facebook groups, I think she's actually walking around with your Starfire version on her cell phone as like the little screen photo.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. When did you do Starfire? Was that just a one-off, or was that part of Injustice? Was Starfire an Injustice?
It was just a print.
Oh, okay.
No, Starfire's not an Injustice. Still waiting to hear back on the Injustice 2 thing. So
that's right. From Warner Brothers, right?
Well, I heard back from Warner Legal, and they said that I have the okay from Warner Games, which is the guy who doesn't answer me at freaking Infinity Ward. Not Infinity Ward, Nether Realms. I don't know. Trying to get it. I'll tell you afterwards why I'm trying to get it.
Okay.
I mean, aside from the obvious. It's something I can't. I can't say out loud.
John Delarose popped back up in your chat, and we John, we briefly told the story. We kind of left some details out. We didn't get real specific, but we did mention that Taylor Esposito had kind of hidden really nasty messages about you in a Dynamite comic book. Yeah.
So what's the story with them? Like, why John? Did he piss in his Cheerios?
Well, the funny thing is, John was friendly with a lot of these guys in the Bay Area. If you get a chance to meet him, John is a real good dude, right? But then he came out as a Trump voter, and everybody lost their minds.
Yeah, that happens. Suddenly you are a hate-filled bigot, even though you've known each other for 25 years or whatever. Yeah. Whatever, man. I just want the economy to be in rocking good shape so that I can afford to send my kids to college if they want to go.
Yeah. Well, you got to put food on your family, to quote George Bush.
Family looks for food on.
But I got to show you some of the alternatives to getting some of the credits, though, because there's really, unless you can go for a very low tuition price, or unless you can get accepted into a very high level university, like your freshman and sophomore stuff, nobody really should spend very much money on that because it's
Oh,
too.
brother, I was just using a standard cultural understanding of why people need money. I have
Okay.
never pushed my kids to go to college. It's if they want to go, I'm like, you know what, you need to know exactly what you're going for and if you need a college degree to get there. Because I'm not spending money on you going to college to figure out what you want to do.
Well, it seems like too, man, that some of these universities have become like adult daycare, kind
Yeah,
of.
yeah, right. The crayons and the teddy bears and crap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you remember seeing any of that stuff about Evergreen College last year?
Not sure. Remind me.
Evergreen, I think, is either in Seattle or Oregon. I can't remember which. And they were having some day where everybody who was not white was, or maybe everybody who was white was supposed to leave the campus to celebrate or honor something. But I mean, the whole college went berserk, and they went and pinned down this one Jewish professor in his classroom and called him all kinds of horrible names. And they
I do
had
remember that.
weird looking transgendered people and like women saw people and like women softball players walking around with baseball bats being some sort of virtue police. It was just all a bunch of SJW weirdness. But I think that college is paying the price for that, though. I think attendance is down, enrollment is down, so I think they're taking a massive hit. You should never let these weirdos take a. I mean, like yeah, in the old days, you would keep a couple of weirdos on faculty so that everybody could see them as like a warning, like don't go down that path. But somewhere it got changed over, and you've got 90% weirdos and like five normal people.
Yeah, I think that was the plan to begin with.
Yeah.
Gosh darn it, what was I going to say? Something about that. I lost it.
It probably had something to do with Marxism. You were probably thinking about something about academia and Marxism. You're
Probably.
probably Joe McCarthy. Who was your one buddy that we were kind of arguing with the other day or discussing? We had a heated discussion. Was that Bedard? Was that his name?
You mean Dan? No.
Yeah. No, was it Panosian? Who's the guy who did slots?
Panosian.
Oh, that was Panosian. That's right, it was Panosian.
Yeah. Oh, I know what I was gonna say. Yes, what you get is families. I don't know. This is a more all-encompassing view of how this culture is sliding down into the morass.
Mm.
But what you have is families being more concerned about having 2 cars and cable TV and cell phones and not just chasing the Joneses, but being the Joneses. And so you have a mother and a father at work because it's so much more important for a mother to be at work than it is for her to be raising her children. So then you have children who are being raised by the school system up until the point where they're 18 years old. They've barely seen their parents their entire lives except for at dinner time, and sometimes not even that. And then they get shoved off to a college where their adult male, female, whatever, adult role models are inculcated into Marxism, and then they convince them that they don't have to believe any of the stuff that their parents failed to teach them anyways, and then ta-da, you have an entire generation of Antifa morons out there who can't think for themselves because they've been brainwashed by this entire society.
I feel like Antifa will be imported in the future.
Well, they're trying to import people from socialist countries down south. What was it? You ever watch Gavin McInnes?
Yeah. Well, no, I was thinking of metaphorically within the Blacklist universe.
Oh.
I was thinking more in a literary sense. Literary? Yeah, literary sense. I guess A
That
grapho-literary
tirade
sense.
was extemporaneous. But I love that Gavin McInnes was arguing with this cropped-haired, mean-faced woman who who was talking about the wonders of socialism, and he starts talking about Venezuela and Argentina and Chile and all the socialist countries down in Latin America, and how they've all completely failed their people, and that's why they come up here, right? And she's like, well, no, I'm talking about socialist countries like Switzerland and Denmark and blah blah blah. And so he just looks at her stone face and goes, so you mean white countries?
Oh yeah. Oh.
She's just like flabbergasted. She's like, I'm in a box. I don't know where to go.
Oh, I wish I had my sunglasses. I could do the meme, but it's not. No. Oh, my wife is getting the sunglasses so I can reenact the meme. Though I think we're lagged out. So that's fantastic. And so it's like no. Wait every day.
Where's your joint?
Yeah, I can't help you there. Yeah. We don't smoke marijuana. Do. Yeah, I'm not much of a toker.
Not a joker.
No, or a midnight smoker. But some people call me Maurice, for I speak for the prophetess of love. Yeah. Yeah, not much on the weed. Not much on the weed. I don't have any tolerance for it. I figured that out when I was a teenager. Like just a little bit of weed, and I would be useless on a couch for like all day. I just didn't particularly enjoy it.
I quit after I'd become a Christian. I don't know if I told the story of how I didn't go to church or anything. After I was convinced that through the study of the scriptures that the Bible is the Word of God, I just started reading it. And so I began this slow...
Oh, hang on a second. Chat is saying they're getting something weird. Let me listen in live for just a second. Sorry.
Oh my gosh, have I been paused like that for hours? I'm from Argentina. We are kind of socialist. Heck yeah, dude. That's why your economy sucks. Can the chat hear me?
Okay, well, I didn't hear anything wacky. I was just listening to the live feed. I didn't hear anything real strange.
Yeah, I don't know if I guess my internet sucks. But yeah, I just like slowly was sanctified, for people who don't know, that means changed through the reading. And I got to a point, the point in the Bible where it says to always be sober-minded. And then I'd smoked weed like just after I did that, and I was just sitting on the couch going and thinking, I'm not 100% in control of my faculties. And that was it. I was like, understanding that is how we should be. I knew that I had to stop that. So,
how old were you? How old were you, Mike?
25, 26 maybe.
Okay. So you had already met your wife at this point.
Yes, we were. Gosh, that was around when we got married. I think we might have already been married. Possible.
How long?
Refresh this page.
How long did it take you to share your newfound faith with your wife, or did she already have faith?
Well, that's an interesting story. She was what you would consider a cultural Christian. Her mother and father were Christian. You know, she was raised Jewish. And then after her brother passed away, she or her dad. Okay, first of all, her mom was a Christian or raised in a Christian family, so she was a cultural Christian. And then she converted to Judaism to marry my father-in-law. And then after, gosh, I don't, you know what? I might be wrong on the timeline. It might not have been after, but he converted to Christianity, which really upset her mom, who had just converted to Judaism. But so she was raised sort of as, you know, culturally Christian. So I when I was already with her, I thought she was a Christian, but I was a young enough Christian to not be able to discern. Right. And then we moved to. I became pretty devout pretty quickly, as a lot of new converts are.
Sure.
And so all of my doors in the comic book industry had suddenly closed. Like I couldn't get work from anywhere. And then my friend, who was living in Texas at the time, said that he had showed my artwork to his art director and they wanted to hire me. So I'm like, this is the door the Lord is opening. So we're moving to Texas. She didn't want to move to Texas, but we ended up moving to Texas. We got into a Calvary Chapel there. And I was like, okay, Jill, you go get in the new beginner or the new believers class. Cause I was like, you know, she didn't know much about the Bible or anything. And in the new believers class, she got it.
Oh, okay.
She understood what it meant to be a believer, born again. She understood salvation, and she accepted Christ. Even though I didn't know she had to already. She hadn't already. But yeah, so it was a very weird situation, but it all worked out thanks to the grace of God. All right. Is this working now? Gosh, I am still pinwheeling. Is anybody else pinwheeling, or is it just my internet?
Every time I've looked at the stream, it's been kind of misbehaving.
Yeah. Well, why don't you just put your symbol on? Turn your camera off.
I thought my camera was on. Let's see.
No.
It shows my camera on. Huh.
No, turn it off.
I'll turn it off?
Yeah.
Turn camera off. Okay.
Then it'll just be pictures.
Okay.
That's an interesting picture. What is that picture? Why is your picture?
That's from a weightlifting or a powerlifting combination. Well, I sure thought I turned it on. Okay, I guess the stream just has to catch up. This is from a powerlifting competition I did in Hilo. I won the deadlift competition for the junior old man event.
Ah, how much weight is that?
That right there, I think that was 425 or 435. I can't remember.
That 4 plates?
Yeah.
Rookie.
And no belt, no straps. Yeah. I cannot lift with a belt. It just gets in my way.
Yeah.
Oh, I won. Oh, my trophy is a katana. Oh, my wife is digging up. Well, but we're not showing cameras right now, so nobody will be able to see it. But yeah, my trophy was a katana.
Nice. Very nice.
Well, I've got those Celtic back genetics, right? So my benching is not super good, but if I can get my monkey hands on you, I've got like strength like a chimpanzee. I can peel your lid back.
So in your work, how many of your guys are like Asians or Hapas?
we actually have, let's see, how many Asians do we have? Actual Asians, couple
Yeah.
of mixes. Now, one of our senior foremen is same as you, Howley father and a Japanese mother.
All right.
He's an interesting guy because he shot a man. That was an interesting story. But he shot
Just
him
to
in the
watch
shoulder.
the-
Yeah. Well, they were going to kill his brother, and they were waving guns and stuff. So the guy who was waving a gun, he he shot the guy right in the shoulder. Ended up doing some jail time for it, but yeah.
Worth it. Worth it just for the story.
And then we have a lot of Hawaiians. We have a couple of Filipinos, a lot of Tongans. Tongans are big boys. Samoans are big boys. Yeah, I'm tiny compared to these boys and weak. I've got boy, one of our Tongans, I think he weighs maybe somewhere between 350 and 370. He bench presses about 500 pounds. He's just a large human being. It's hard to conceive of until you see him in person. His chest is just so big. He is a large human being. At 375 pounds and not like
Mighty
fat.
man of renown.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. If I had to mess with him, I'd probably hit him with a truck and then back over him to be safe.
No, I asked because I have a little, I don't know, personal experience, and then sort of a pet theory that Asians are just stronger, like pound for pound.
Mm.
And I was wondering if you noticed that because you work with a lot of people who have to lift a lot of things, right?
Well, now my foreman was a boxer, and so he's fairly stout, but he's not a large man.
Right, but not big.
Pound for
Just
pound,
strong
Asians
for their size.
stronger. Yeah, there may be something to that. There may be something to that.
Yeah, because you know, when I was younger, I never really got big, but I could bench press 250, and I could squat. I don't even remember, over 400.
Oh yeah, like a regular free weight squat, 400.
Well, on the rig,
Okay.
so like, you know, take it off the rig, drop it, and put it back on the rig. So I
Right.
guess that's free weight, but and then, you know, you look at Bruce Lee. It can't just be me and Bruce Lee. But I meet a lot of Asian guys who it's like, yeah, it's just I don't know if it's a denseness. Plus, you know what? It is a denseness because I mean, you look at me, and just to look at me from the average weight category, you'd probably think I weigh about a buck 45, buck 50.
Right.
I weigh 180.
Oh well. How tall are you, man?
5'7", 5'6" 3/4.
Oh, you are fairly dense then.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, because I was like, and I was walking and I was losing weight and all this stuff, and I wasn't losing weight. It was like, doesn't matter how slim I got, I still weighed freaking 180. So it's like, yeah, my nephew looks, I mean, he looks a little thinner than me, but he's like, you know, a buck 35, something like that.
Right.
And I'm like, yeah, I'm like 50 pounds heavier than you.
Well,
and he's taller than me.
yeah, I weigh more than I look like I weigh, but I'm only right now. I'm only walking around at about 190. I've been cutting, and I'm 6'1".
Oh, wow.
I usually walk around anywhere from 180. If I'm really getting into strength training, I'll let myself go up to 220, 225. Much beyond that, though, I just don't feel good that heavy.
Yeah. Yeah, when I have some more time, I'll probably start working out again. My wife doesn't like it when I get big. She likes lithe, which I can't do lithe. That's not possible for me anymore. Like, oh, I've been lithe since I was like 15. I mean,
That ship has sailed, huh?
yeah, I started working out in 7th grade. So, and then I worked out all the way through junior college, and mostly gave it up after that. But at that point, my frame had been set. So
Mm-mm.
Hard to get away from it.
Well, Mr. Miller,
It's that time.
I think, let's see, it is 8 o'clock here. So I think we've been going for almost about 2 hours now.
No, really?
So it started streaming an hour ago.
Oh, but we were messing around for a while.
Oh, yeah, that's true. That's true.
Figure stuff out. Alrighty. Well, thanks everyone. Do you want to skim through the chat at all, or?
Yeah. Let's skim through, make sure we didn't miss anything real important. Let's see. Shuru Backer 18 reporting in. All right. Yeah, render the. Well, hang on. Let me put my camera back on, because I'm saluting and you can't even see it.
Let me shut this off completely and start over.
That's better. All right. So Backer 18 reporting in. Our squadron, we salute you. Ro Kabir Kumar says, burn Evergreen to cinders and build a church on that land. That was Evergreen College. It sounds like a good plan. Jay Stout, I go to Oregon Tech and it's not that bad. I've only had one SJW teacher, probably because everyone is more focused on their trades. Makes sense. Let's see. Oh, wow. Somebody was given numbers on iron sights, and it looks like it's up to $117,000. Wow.
Well, that's good. Well, it's only got a few hours to go.
Yeah. Ro Kabir Kumar, homeschool is the answer. So I think you have a kindred spirit in educating the children. Arik says, Curry and my guts don't like each other. That's unfortunate. I like Curry.
Curry tonight.
Let's see. Scrolling on down. James S. says, the Portland Antifa isn't even from Portland.
Can't believe that.
Isn't Ethan from Portland?
Isn't even.
Asking if Ethan was from Portland. Ethan lived in Portland for a couple of years.
Oh, did he? Oh.
Yeah. He moved out there for a girl and then realized that was a bad idea.
Let's see. Michael Prenesti. A teacher told me to kiss a conservative politician's butt, and I reported her. I spent a semester in the office and was even pulled out of exams. My parents got involved. It's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Let's see. From Chicken Sith, socialism, come to sunny Venezuela, where World of Warcraft in game gold is worth more than our currency, and we can eat any pet we can catch. No thanks.
You know, the young man who colored my cover A, Teodoro Gonzalez, he escaped Venezuela.
Oh, you know, after the Bible, we used to go back to Kagemusha, and we never did go back to Kagemusha. Can you talk about Kagemusha briefly? That I just remembered that.
Nah.
Not for you.
Well, I wanted to go back in. I need to revamp him because.
Is his story going to get modified some?
Oh, it has to, because it was designed to be a Batman counterpart, and so yeah, I'm gonna go back and fiddle with him. He's still gonna be you know, sort of the Japanese Batman. He's gonna have the he's a businessman, you know, by day, that sort of thing. He's not a playboy or any of that crap, but yeah, I have to noodle with that. So it doesn't matter what I tell you, it's probably not gonna make it to paper anyway. But the design will remain. I that's of the few ones that I'm really happy with, you know, design wise. Kagemusha is one of them. So
So Kagemusha was a character that you pitched to DC Comics, and he's sort of, is he Japanese Batman? What would you call him?
Japanese Batman.
Japanese Batman.
Yeah, he was a. Okay, in that story, he came to America to deal with like a mob slash yakuza takeover of his business dealings. You know that they had done some bad stuff, and so he was here cleaning house in a very Punisher-esque way. And Batman considered him to be a villain because he didn't know that the quote unquote businessmen that were being executed in the streets by a dark samurai figure were actually themselves villains, and so that's how they end up in a bit of a tussle, but not doing it. So I need to massage his storyline and make it work with maybe having him be a sort of a Punisher type anti-hero for Lone Star, but I'd have to figure out how to bring him into that universe, into this universe. It's all got to be organic, you know.
Well, there is an organic way to do that. If Kagemusha was tracking down a particular threat that maybe would be shared by Kagemusha and the unknown soldiers.
Yeah. Hey, you know my nephew, or not my nephew, my cousin who's staying here, actually staying at my mom's house. His grandfather was Yakuza.
Oh yeah. Did he have the full sleeve and?
Yeah.
Nice.
He was like high up.
Mm-mm.
He wasn't a grunt. He was like legit freaking boss man Yakuza.
Oh, nice. They almost, you know, now. I mean, I know they're still there, but now they almost serve like some of them. I think have to have part-time jobs and stuff to meet ends meet, because now it's more. I think in some cases, and I'm sure there's still like real deal yakuza, but in some places, I think they almost serve like a cultural function.
I don't know. I know they don't like talking about it.
Yeah, I'm sure not. I'm sure not.
I mean, when someone in the family is Yakuza, it's not, you don't brag about that.
Yeah.
No one in Japan gets tattoos because they don't want to be associated with Yakuza.
Yeah. It's almost like you almost become like a pariah. Yeah. Cultural normative forces in Japan are actually still quite strong. Yeah. Let's see. Sketch therapy. Your stream is acting strange. I should suggest you rewatch this and see if my chat is visible to you. I have no idea why neither you or Edwin can see me. Can Sketch, I was just looking something up, so we're not always in chat. I was just, and I was scrolled up in chat looking to see if anybody had asked questions earlier.
I'm inking, so I'm not looking at the chat much anyways.
Yeah.
Did you need something, bro? You can DM me, bro.
Sketch therapy. I've been trying to get this through DM, but I can't get any response. Were you sending me a DM? I don't look at Twitter sometimes when I'm.
I'll check after the stream. I'm just talking and drawing right now, so I'm. Would you please stop making the noise with the airsoft gun? You know that transit.
But I think that is probably a good stopping point. Hang on, let me do one more thing. Let me do one more thing. Bear with.
That's a good stopping point.
Let me do one thing. Let's see. Here we go. This is the first psalm. Blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor standeth in the way of sinners, nor sitteth in the seat of the scornful. But his delight is in the law of the Lord, and in his law doth he meditate day and night. And he shall be like a tree planted by the rivers of water, that bringeth forth his fruit in his season. His leaf also shall not wither, and whatsoever he doeth shall prosper. The ungodly are not so, but are like the chaff which the wind driveth away. First Psalm.
Yep. My gosh, why do you guys have to keep making noise in here? I'm gonna have to work on my patience. No, it's because Elijah was sitting there for like minutes just clicking and playing with that thing, and I told him to stop, and then he'd come in and pick it up and start playing with it. So, all right, chat. Thanks for being here. Again, thank you for your support, and you know, can't do it without you. Can't do any of this without you. I'll prove you wrong. Yeah, if you want to scroll down through my, what do you call that thing, the description. Let's see what I have. Let me get rid of this. So my description, where's my description? I can't access it on this. Never mind. Anyways, there's a bunch of new stuff in the description if you want to check it out. I've got a wish list on Amazon. Rod's the one that suggested I do that. I put my Patreon up. Rod also suggested I do that. The mailing list, please, if you're not already on the mailing list, get on there. I'm going to be sending something out relatively soon. My store's on there if you want to grab some prints. And of course, LoneStarComic.com. If you have not supported Lone Star yet, we've got 11 days to go. And we're about halfway, a little past halfway where I'd really need to be to get caught up on everything. So every dollar helps. And yeah, just thanks again and again and again. You guys are the best. Aloha.
Aloha.